And welcome again to the NFLduToilet Fantasy Football League TV series. Thank you guys so much for following along. I know we just had our draft recap video, but to follow that up, Blockbuster Trade to kick off the season. Of course, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Paul missing out on quarterbacks thanks to the excessive drinking encouraged by Damian and Chris in Mohegan Sun. Paul, all kinds of a disaster at the draft. No quarterbacks. No rookie in a league that you need a starting rookie in a flex spot and two starting quarterbacks. He's got nothing. His first quarterback taken is Deshaun Watson. That's horrible. Now, some of us were looking to take advantage of the situation, of course. So someone like me, I jumped in, grabbed a couple of extra quarterbacks, and being the great Samaritan that I am, I was able to offer Paul what I thought was a reasonable trade. Of course, I'm getting Justin Jefferson back, and that sent alarms in the league to start off the year. Let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at this trade offer that I gave him. Receiving for myself Justin Jefferson, David Montgomery, Raheem Mostert, Deshaun Watson, and Drew Lock. Now, those bottom three, let's just be perfectly honest with you. I don't need either of those quarterbacks. Lock's probably not going to play by the third or fourth week. Watson, not really coming until our playoff. I can't really afford to leave him just sitting on my bench. and then Raheem Mostert is kind of a throwaway with having Eckler and Barkley on my team. Paul's receiving Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. It really rounds out his starting quarterback. They're both going to be solid. The only way they're not playing is by injury, of course. Kenneth Walker is a great rookie considered before he had a hernia. Probably the second best rookie in the league, at least the third, maybe behind Drake London. A little bit of argument there depending on who you talk to. Christian Kirk, he wanted a receiver back since he was losing Jefferson, so I kind of caved a little bit. Gave him Kirk, which I wasn't super happy to do, and of course Joe Flacco just to throw in to make sure he's covered in week one with Zach Wilson. Now, I thought this trade was solid. It actually jumped Paul up in the power rankings to 8 at the time. If you're looking at Fantasy Pros, I did a little digestion of that. I myself went from 5 to 3. So a little bit stronger, of course, and that again, getting Jefferson for me sent alarms. There's a lot of people in the league that just lose their absolute mind if someone's trading away their first-round draft pick and not getting a first-rounder in return. But you got to remember, starting quarterbacks and rookies are very important. I think Mac Jones, Zach Wilson was very generous to give him both, plus Kenneth Walker. He's getting everything that he needs. I think he can be very competitive. Now, I'm not going to argue that my team doesn't get arguably better. Of course, it does. That's the point of trying to take advantage of the situation I had. But with Damian, who seems to hate me in all things sports related or just where you live, like Ohio or Texas, had it out and went to basically anyone in the league, begging anyone to throw some sort of counter. Anything you do, reminding people that in our league, there's no vetoes. There's no voting against the trade. There's just either you accept the trade in the 24-hour that was offered or someone can offer a counter. And that's what happened. We wake up this morning. We're about 6 hours from the trade closing and finalizing. And, of course, Damian's able to find some comfort in his brother. It seems like maybe these two are starting to mend the fences a little bit as their bonding seems to be great. We like to call this the Cape Cod collusion with Paul being out there as well. Somehow, some way, Nick counters and is able to get Travis Kelce out of this deal. So no Justin Jefferson, but Travis Kelce, which, to remind people, was Paul's second-round pick. Not too much further after he took Jefferson. So not falling down very far, getting Travis Kelce. Miles Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Miles Sanders could be a good steal for Nick, but Deshaun Watson, you have to imagine, he's either going to get rid of him or try to stash him on the bench and pray something happens as the season goes on. Paul receiving the other way. Now, this is final. This was countered. It was accepted. This is final. There's no more countering this. He does get Daniel Jones, solid. He does get Geno Smith. Between Geno Smith and Drew Lock, he does have a starting quarterback out of Seattle, which is great. He does pick up that rookie in Tyler Algier. I'm sorry, Tyler, if I don't pronounce your name properly, although there's zero chance you're watching this. But comparing that to Kenneth Walker, this just goes to show you that people in the Northeast do not watch college football. I talked about it in the draft video. They do not watch college football. That's just very simple. To take this guy over Kenneth Walker to think he's going to have any kind of impact this season, I think is ridiculous. And then the tight end, Freiermuth out of Pittsburgh to replace Kelce. I did get a word from Paul. He does not believe in Kelce. He thinks the the Kansas City offense is going to fall apart. That's not something that you can really do a lot about if his opinion is that's his opinion. So not being high on Kelce just confuses me why he went tight end in the second round. Of course, I should stop asking that question because he was drunk out of his mind. I should just be impressed that he took somebody as high as Kelce in the second round. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But this is final. Congrats, Nick. I think you really hosed someone there. And again, that collusion up in the Cape, I didn't know it ran as deep as involving Nick into this, but it seems like it may have. But again, congrats, guys. Congrats, Paul, on fixing your team. I know I like to talk a lot of shit, but, at least you're going to be competitive now. For the first time in a long time, we have 12 competitive teams, so it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. But that does change a few things. We can look at the lineups here. You'll see Paul filling out his lineup pretty well finally. He's going to have to throw in that rookie and pray that he plays. Otherwise, he's still going to be looking for a rookie. Paul, just in case you're wondering, Kenneth Walker's still available. I'd even throw in maybe Zach Wilson and just take 2 for 1. I'll take Jefferson that way. So you get back to me, buddy. Let me know. I still got the pieces there for you. Nick's lineup, in my opinion, significantly better. I know a lot of talk about people thinking I was going to improve. I think Nick goes from great to the best or the greatest in the league, or I think I was going good to great maybe. So a bigger jump I think for Nick there is filling out that lineup. Really no real weaknesses there except Trey Lance. If Trey Lance is able to do what Nick is hopeful that he'll do, I mean, Nick could just be unstoppable if he stays healthy this year. Of course, that is a big shakeup in the power rankings. Let's see what that does. Does it dethrone and give us a new one? Of course, Paul drops from 10 to 12. Everyone else staying the same except one glaring move. Forever Kending by Nick Wiseman jumps from 4 all the way up to 1, dropping Damian down to 4 as well with some moves that he's made. So we're just going to have to see as this plays out. Of course, it's ever evolving as the thing goes. I think we looked a little bit later today. Damian was number 2, but the last I checked on Fantasy Pros, he had dropped down to 4. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. Follow along as the shit is going to continue to roll. Still a lot of trades to be made. And, of course, we've got another week coming up of exhibition games. The preseason's got one more week. Could be a lot of injuries. If anybody's quarterback goes down, you got to imagine Jimmy G comes into the fold there. And Paul does have him stashed away on his team. So that could be a good late draft pick by Paul. So congrats, guys. Congrats, Nick and Paul, figuring out the trade there. And I guess we will see you guys next time. Have a good rest of the day, everyone. Bye-bye.